What is good with y'all boys? YouTube, it's Boogie, and welcome back to another video on the channel, another banger on the channel. You feel me? You dig? You know what I'm saying? Halloween weekend, gang, you know what I'm saying? We still fire, we still active, you know what I'm saying? And we definitely gonna be outside on Halloween. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into some more reaction videos. This time it's gonna be trick or treat, trying to get in that Halloween spirit, you know what I'm saying? Three trick or treat animated Halloween short stories we finna react to. Let's go ahead and get it, man.
For disclaimer purposes, I'll be using pseudonyms, as I like to keep the identity of everyone involved in the story anonymous.
It helps keep my attention
that being
better,
said, I'll go by the alias Mike. My friends will go by Tom and Jerry.
Y'all like animated short stories?
We were all dressed as characters from my favorite childhood cartoons.
Let me know down in the comments
I was
below.
dressed as Naruto, as that was my favorite anime.
I could definitely start doing more.
Tom was dressed as Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Jerry was dressed as Spider-Man, as he was a hardcore fan of the Tobey Maguire series that aired in the early 2000s. I remember us trick-or-treating for about a solid hour or two around the neighborhood. I could feel my legs get sore from all the relentless walking and strain from carrying my heavy sack of candy. My bag was starting to get full to the brim. My friends' bags were just as full, as they began carrying their sacks over their shoulders.
Hope y'all been enjoying your Halloween weekend, man. I know I have. You know what I'm saying?
If I had a dollar for every candy that was inside my bag, I would have definitely had enough to buy myself a new gaming console. Guys, can we go home?
Been in my bag,
dude, don't give up yet. We still got room in our bags. Just 10 more minutes, man. You're just saying that because you're practically wearing a onesie made out of women's leggings. At least you don't have to wear this stupid wig on your head. Stop being such wimps. This day only comes once a year, so grow a pair and let's keep going. Jerry began to make his way further down the street, while me and Tom looked at each other with a disdained look that screamed, "Let's get this over with quick." We then proceeded to walk towards Jerry's direction. I recall Jerry already standing in front of a house with his arms extending his bag towards the candy giver saying, "Trick or treat!" I also noticed this one trick-or-treater wearing a Jason Voorhees mask standing behind him. He was a tall and slim kind of guy who was either a really big kid or just an older man who didn't want to give up the trick-or-treating tradition. As we approached another house, Jerry said, "Alright guys, just 2 more houses, then we can bounce." The individual wearing the Jason mask casually inserts himself in the conversation and says, "Would you guys mind if I trick-or-treat with you as well? I lost my friends and don't have my cell phone on me." I personally didn't want this guy tagging along, as I was already done with the day and didn't need any further baggage prolonging the night. I casually make eye contact with Tom and Jerry while desperately trying to portray signals to not accept the guy's request. Jerry enthusiastically says, "Yeah, sure, let's go." "Thanks, guys. You made my Halloween so much better." We then proceeded to walk towards the next house while I began sulking under my breath saying, "Frickin' prick, since when was Jerry the shot caller?"
Do not pay somebody to build you a Shopify store, because I'm going to do it free with 20 handpicked products by...
After about several minutes of trick-or-treating, I could honestly say that I didn't mind his company, as he seemed like a nice guy and introduced himself as Jason. No pun intended. We eventually finished trick-or-treating and decided to call it a night. Myself, Tom, and Jerry say our farewells to Jason as he responds saying, "It was nice meeting you guys. Just out of curiosity, whereabouts do y'all live? Maybe I can walk with y'all home." Again, Jerry sporadically discloses the name of our street to him, as me and Tom expressively show our disdain to Jerry for revealing such personal information. "Well, how ironic. I live around y'all's area too. You guys mind if I walk home with you?" Me and Tom remained silent as we made it pretty evident that we were upset at Jerry. Dude, I don't think my friends want to go— "You guys look awfully tired. Just to make y'all feel better, I do know a shortcut if you're trying to avoid the long walk home." Yeah, sure, dude. Count me in, dude.
Like, yeah, sure,
where's it
dude,
at?
not buying that.
Jason then of an entrance of a forest preserve and says, "We'd have to walk through there. There's a path that could get us home in about 10 minutes tops." I'm gonna have to pass. I don't like deer, and I'm not trying to get eaten by a bear today. Screw it, I'm going. Same. I want to get home faster, dude. Later, Jerry. Me, Tom,
Later,
and Jason
Jerry.
begin making our way inside the forest while Jerry casually hangs back to go to his alternate direction home. As we got deeper into the forest, Jason took out a flashlight from his candy bag and began to flash it towards the pathway ahead of us. Well, I wouldn't really call it a pathway,
Y'all
as the
going down
entire
this
ground was
path
covered
yet?
in dirt, leaves, trees,
Through the
and
woods,
bushes
shortcut
scattered
to
everywhere.
save y'all time.
I remember walking for about
On
10
Halloween
minutes,
night,
but
cold.
in reality, it felt like 30. His directions were precise and his voice was comprehensible. I understood every
He's finna
instruction
leave
he was
y'all nigga
directing
to
us to walk in,
his,
but couldn't digest why
dungeon.
the walk
All
was
the
taking
they
so long.
they
I
homeboy
had
with the Spidey
completely
costume
ignored the
left.
fact that it was well over 10 minutes. For better context, me and Tom were leading the walk while Jason shined his flashlight from behind while giving out directions. Yo, are we there yet? My legs are freaking killing me, man. Dude, when are we
Yeah,
gonna make it
bro.
home? It's been like 20 minutes already.
3 more steps,
We'll be
gang.
arriving
We finna
there
be there.
in just a minute, boys. As we began to walk further down the
Finna molest
forest,
y'all niggas.
I casually turned my head to glance at Jason, only to see him wearing his mask still, despite trick-or-treating being over with. I started to feel a little
Yeah,
uncomfortable
you the treat, nigga.
and
He
began
gonna be
questioning
tricking
the
you.
guy's integrity by saying, "Dude, why are you still wearing your mask? And I'm starting to believe you're not leading us home."
Stop!
Jason then points at 2 shovels sitting on a small
Hell no,
area
not
of
big.
open dirt
No,
and
no,
says,
no. We not doing
Pick
that.
up the shovels now!
Dude,
Or
what's
what?
going on? Jason then
I'm not
pulls
digging
out a
my
long
own grave,
machete from
nigga.
the back of his pants and says,
Pick up those shovels and start digging a hole.
"What?
Do it, weeb! Dude, please, just let us go!
He said,
Pick up
"Do
the
it,
shovel and
weeb."
start digging, Naruto! This is your last warning that I'm killing you both!
That's when me
Y'all
and
better
Tom
get to
pick up the
digging.
shovels and frantically start digging.
Nigga, I'm picking that shit
In the
up
back
and
of my head, I was
swinging on
legitimately
my ass,
contemplating putting up a fight with this psycho as it
Shovel
was 2
versus
against
machete, who
1 with the
winning?
aid of the shovels.
I think I'll take my chances, bro.
Unfortunately, I couldn't muster up
It's
the
my
courage
life
to
or
put up a
yours.
fight against him as
I
I
think
didn't
I'm gonna
want to
let
run
me
the risk
decide,
of mine
man.
or Tom's head getting chopped off. About 15 to 20 minutes later, me and Tom dug a hole big enough for the both of us to fit inside it.
He done went Super
As we were
Saiyan
about to
on.
make our way out of the hole, Jason shouts,
Don't move! Stay in the hole!
as he forcibly grabs both the shovels away from us while holding the machete against us. Jason then
Y'all
tucks the
scary,
machete
bro. I
inside his
would've not been
pants,
going for
grabs
that.
one of the shovels, and begins burying us
2-on-1?
alive with the dirt we just dug out.
No
I began to
way.
feel my vision getting blurry as the overwhelming amount of dirt he was tossing at us impaired my vision. Please, I don't want to die. I'm too young for this. Please! Please, let us go! Why are you doing this?
Talking about
We're
some,
only
let us go.
kids!
So you see either you die in that hole with mud all over you, bro, or you take your
Was how
chances trying to
human
get up out
could do
that
such
joint.
unhuman acts.
They gonna take on my
And how I
chances,
was
bro.
literally
What
going
they
to
do?
share my remaining
You could
moments
tell
of
they
Earth
grew up
being
around
buried
straight
alive
man.
with my best friend. I was at the point where I had already accepted death. I recall the
already
taste of
accepted
dirt and dead bugs going
bugs
inside
in
my
it.
mouth. The sensation of dirt hitting my skin was all I felt. That's when I heard a loud thud like he had just bashed Tom's brains out. I couldn't hear or feel any more dirt hitting the surface of my face.
Someone done
I
hit that
rubbed
man.
my eyes to find my vision,
Spidey, let's go.
only to see Jason
Miles,
laying
bruh.
face down on the ground unconscious,
Morales,
with my other
Elliot.
friend Jerry
That's
holding a
hard,
shovel.
bruh.
Me and Tom then dig ourselves out of the hole and
That's
hop
day
back to
one.
ground
I
level.
was wondering where he
Despite
went.
surviving the catastrophe and being able to run away scot-free, I grabbed the machete from the back of Jason's
slit his
pants. I then held him up by the forehead and began hacking at his neck, slicing and dicing repeatedly. I eventually decapitated his head while my entire Naruto costume was covered in blood. I remember seeing my friends nonchalantly watching me with a gaunt emotion,
I mean,
almost
it's
like
like,
my sadistic actions didn't even faze them.
I mean,
I then pushed his body into the hole as my friends began to
nigga,
collectively
Naruto
bury
just
him.
caught the body.
As
nigga.
outlandish as the
You
story
gotta do everything to
sounds,
take the lead.
it was a
Billy,
true
man.
story that actually happened.
Threw his head in there.
I always wondered what heaven would be like if I was to die alongside my friend Tom that night. Jerry was initially supposed to head home, but decided to follow us as he saw the machete tucked in the back of Jason's pants.
Yeah, it's a real
He
nigga
began
right
to
there.
directly follow behind our footsteps and unexpectedly witnessed the altercation go down. As we were getting buried alive, he used the opportunity to knock Jason
Y'all
out
could
with the
have done
second
that
shovel
yourself.
sitting
No
behind him.
cap. I mean,
I
they
still
really
don't
could have
know
done
to
that
this day
themselves.
if his remains
Like,
were ever discovered. All I know is that I had a deadly conscious seep inside my head that night.
Yo, the fact that
But
this
at the
stuff is
same
based on a
time,
true story is crazy.
a hint of satisfaction.
Oh my god, nigga covered. Uh-oh. It's the non-tails coming out. Like, I wonder if there's some type of relief catching bodies. Serial killers and people who are like psyched out and like sadistic and got things wrong with them, bro. Like when they kill people, like it's like a trigger almost, bro, in their brain that like it's like a release of dopamine. It's like a dopamine hit type deal, bro. You feel me? Like,
if you take your young child trick-or-treating, you really have to watch them closely. Especially if you raised a couple of imbeciles like I did.
I don't know, bro.
We started just before nightfall because I didn't want them to be around other older hooligan kids who would cause trouble on
just
Halloween.
Like if you were to do anything else.
I let them walk ahead of me and run up to the houses while I waited on the sidewalk. I trusted them that much, and I wanted them to feel like they got the full experience without their dad hovering over them. About 2 hours after sundown, I was starting to see the hooligans come out, so I was ready to turn back and head home. Come on, kiddos, let's go home so you can eat all that candy you've piled up. Oh, really? Yep. Can't stay out too much longer or Mom will start to get worried about you.
Really?
Okay, but can we at least hit some houses on the way back? Sure thing, buddy. So, we started to walk home. To my surprise, we'd ended up wandering into a part of the neighborhood I wasn't super familiar with. I got my phone out and put in the GPS route so we wouldn't get lost, but unfortunately I got a little distracted looking at all the costume photos my PTA friends were posting of their children. Suddenly, I bumped into my kids.
Dad, can we trick-or-treat them?
My youngest son pointed to a house I'd never seen before. It was set all the way in the back of the lot, as if they traded all their backyard space for a ridiculously long front yard. I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be decorated for Halloween or Christmas, but either way, they'd gone all out. It looked like a life-size gingerbread house with all sorts of candy ornaments, licorice, icing, and candy canes that created a sugary runway straight to the front door.
We would take that same instance and look at somebody. Would we still consider that like sadistic, or would we still consider them like psyched out? Cause like, bro, we all grew up in the woods. Who used to say what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong? It would just simply be an action at that point, because there would be no moral standards or values but to back that stuff up from like the economy or society or who, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Whatever the standard might be.
They ran off immediately, so I decided to just wait on the sidewalk. Hey, that one's actually pretty good. I looked up from my phone to see the ugliest old lady I'd ever seen open the door and greet the kids. Don't judge, John, I thought, averting my eyes. Your wife might look like that one day. But when I looked up again, the next thing I saw were my kids walking into the house. What the? I ran up to the door and tried to get in.
How is he so far away from his kids though, bro?
Hey! So I decided to just wait on the sidewalk. Hey, that one's actually pretty good. I looked up from my phone to see the ugliest old lady I'd ever seen open the door and greet the kids.
And which is
Don't
for sure
judge,
real,
John,
bro.
I thought,
I'll just
averting
get on
my
to
eyes.
that and
Your wife might
talk
look
about
like
that
that one
topic
day.
fool,
But when I looked up again, the next thing I saw were my
witchcraft and all
kids
that
walking into the house.
stuff so deep.
What the? I ran up to the door and tried to get in,
So what
but it was locked. Hey!
Yo, nigga,
I
someone done to
banged
my
on the
kids,
door
bro.
like I was
Breaking
trying
in
to
there,
beat
bro.
it down, but no one answered. I was starting to panic, hyperventilating. I peeked in through the window, and what I saw made my heart jump out of my chest. There were metal cages hanging from the ceiling, piles of little bones on the floor, and a coat of garbage and filth over
like some
everything
Monster
else.
House shit, bro.
I scrambled,
Now
looking
y'all
for something
remember
to
Monster
throw
House,
through the
bro, with
window.
the little stuff at the
Finally,
end.
I picked up
Or
a
not in
stone
the
from the
end, but
yard
like,
that was painted to look like a
she had
peppermint
that
and
house- she had
chucked
the
it through
house
the
and then
glass.
she had that stuff at the
It didn't
bottom.
fall away as much as I'd hope it
like
would,
storage
but I
units
already
and, like,
felt like I was
toys and all
running out of
that.
time. I climbed in over the jagged shards, getting cuts in plenty of places I wouldn't like to talk about. Inside, I heard the crackling of a raging fire. I followed the sound to the living room, where the old hag was tending the towering
them
flames
lighted
in the
up.
fireplace.
Hey,
and
look
my
at the one
kids,
dressed as
the
Ash,
dunces,
bro.
were already locked up in cages on the floor.
I'm dead,
They
bro.
weren't even struggling. Dad, what are you doing here?
Dead.
Just then,
We finna
the
get
wrinkly
sacrificed.
hag
What are you doing
spooked
here?
and jumped up, turning around to face me.
She told us she got
Without
us a
thinking
Halloween
much
ghost
of
story
it,
from more
I
candy.
charged and punched her right in the face. She fell back into the fire with a flurry of flames and embers, screaming horridly and rolling on the floor to no avail. She succumbed quickly. Tearing my eyes from the sight, I rushed to my knees and started to undo the locks on the cages.
Dad, you're ruining everything. Yeah, now we're not gonna get any candy.
I was right, bruh.
What did you just say?
I hate you. I hate you.
Fine. Stay in the cages and think about what you've done.
Wait, Daddy, don't leave. Dad, no. Come back. Get us out. We're sorry, Daddy. Please, let us out. We're sorry. We're sorry. Please don't leave us here. Let us out.
Oh! What? No way.
Circle's been around since 2015. We put out a ton of money, done a ton of deals. Our people are...
He just gonna do his fam like that, bro. Oh my gosh. Narrated by Tens.
People who don't know about my story always ask me why I never go out for Halloween anymore.
Why don't you never go out for Halloween?
I tell them the reason is because I'm too old now, but only my boys, Josh and Tyler, really understand. But even they don't know everything. I've barely had the strength to tell anyone in person. Hopefully this will get it off my chest. It started out as a textbook night of hooliganry, with far more tricks than treats on our part. We jumped out of bushes and scared plenty of little kids. We stole about 8 bowls of candy from front porches and played chicken with just about every car that drove past us. Our sacks were bulging with candy, and our heads were even more swollen with ego. Josh was holding his candy sack between his legs. Now this is how you go trick-or-treating. Tyler was smart. He was ready to turn in. We should call it, boys. I don't think we can carry much more. I'd call this a success for the history books. I'm ready to begin the feast. I had a little more room in my pillowcase, so I was still willing to push my luck.
Actually, just from
Come on, guys, one more score.
No, like,
fine, but just one more. I'm getting tired of hauling around all this loot. I led them around the corner and hustled down the sidewalk.
I've had like 4 bags before.
Then I saw it.
Not bags, but
the house that would be the reckoning of all the bad karma I'd built up that night. Look at that, boys! Whoa. Oh, there ain't no way, homie. Nuh-uh.
I swear
it looked like a condemned trap house turned haunted murder manor. A winding path of cracked pavement crept up to the front porch, on which there were no signs of life nor candy. But all over the house were obvious signs that this property was meant for the fright of trick-or-treaters. Fake spiderwebs were draped over the windows. A single skeleton lounged in the rocking chair by the door. The lawn was littered with foam tombstones and animatronic creatures of the night. The typical tarantulas, zombie torsos, and rodents of unusual size. But the most unsettling and brazen ornaments of all were the mutilated mannequins skewered on spikes lined up along the path to the door. I believe we met our match here, boys. Let's go home. Yeah, man, we should really get out of here. Oh my god, you guys are wimps. You know this is all fake. I don't know how such a boneheaded sense of bravery came over me in that moment, but it stands as one of my life's biggest regrets. Whatever, I'm going in. You're nuts, dude. For real, you're on your own. I was already halfway to the porch. Whatever, just wait for me out here. I climbed up the creaky steps and examined the skeleton that greeted me. There were fake cockroaches in his lap and in his eye sockets. His bony hands held a sign that read, "Enter, if you dare." So cheesy. The front door was heavily splintered, and someone had splattered fake blood all over the handle. Inside, I heard faint screaming and shattering glass, but nothing that couldn't be spooky ambience from hidden speakers. I looked back to my friends. They were already getting bored and digging through their sacks of candy. I had to make it quick. They wouldn't sit around and wait on me forever. When I turned the door handle, the fake blood smeared all over my hand. Ew, gross. I pressed on and entered the house. The interior had the same aesthetic. More spider webs and fake skeletons.
See, like a haunted
this
house
time,
would be hard.
the rats and
but
cockroaches were
but not
real.
like, what if someone actually
They
had,
scurried
their
around
own
my feet
personal
and
house,
fled
but,
from my
They
presence.
turned it down to a haunted house.
I walked as quietly
like
as
in
I
your
could
neighborhood.
down the long, narrow
You had, like,
hallway,
you had to,
but
like, walk
every
up, like, a
floorboard
big hill,
creaked and
but
groaned under my weight.
and like the driveway
Then,
super long, and the house
I started
was really
hearing
far
it.
back.
The sound that echoes in my nightmares to this day. Thumping, like someone pounding on wood. And with every strike, a horrible squelching. Followed by a bone-chilling scrape. Thud, squish, scratch. Thud, squish, scratch.
He said thud.
My heart started pounding. I wasn't feeling nearly so courageous as before, but I still wasn't ready to give up. I desperately wanted the king-size prize at the end of this terrible hallway,
king-size
and the fame of fearlessness.
Hey,
The
he worried about
sound
that
grew
candy,
louder and
bro.
louder as I approached an open doorway on my
Nigga,
left.
ain't nobody else in there, bro.
I knew that was where the sound was coming from. I crept up to the hole in the
sound
wall
like
and
you
tried to
chomping
steel
away or
myself, hyping myself up to get the bag and flee. But a light shined through the doorway, casting a shadow on the floor before me. I saw the shape
look
of a
weird,
man with
bruh.
a long knife in his hand,
The shadow look
swinging
weird.
down his blade again and again in perfect sync with the sound.
Cutting some meat.
Thud, squish, scratch. I peeked my head around the corner and peered into the kitchen. I couldn't believe what I saw, but I'll never forget it. There he was, the man with the knife, dressed in a bloody coverall with messy
got
slick
Michael
back
Myers,
hair, and a mask that
mask.
looked like the severed face of his victim.
Online courses offered by Purdue Global helped me to guide my career.
Hey,
as well
bro,
as it
this made
helped
me
to
want to
learn
go
my
trick or
skills.
treating even more, bro. Cause like, nigga, I wish I wasn't. Some
He
shit
had
like
the
that,
still
bro.
bleeding corpse of a man on a
No
butcher block,
way,
and he
bro.
was chopping the body to bits. I watched him do it several times, frozen in fear. He slammed the blade into the flesh, slicing through bone and all, spewing blood in
Look
every
at that.
direction.
That's not funny, bro. Just look at his tongue,
Then,
bro. Like
he
he like.
carefully removed the edge from the wood of the block with one sliding
Imagine
motion.
you die for real, like real life. You
He
die like
raised
that.
his hand up high, ready to repeat the motion until there
That's
was
not
nothing
funny. You
left
just
of
look
his
funny,
victim.
bro. Like
He was focused,
you
methodical.
just slump for you.
Thud, squish, scratch.
Now that is
This was
nasty
no
though.
run-of-the-mill Michael Myers fanatic. This was him, Michael Myers incarnate,
Fanatic.
in the flesh and indisputable. The
Michael
pace
Myers
and
don't kill his
desperation
opponents
of
like
my
that,
breaths
do he, though?
became audible.
Like
My heart sank
I
as
thought he
Myers
more,
turned his head towards me. This reincarnation of Myers must have been some kind of beast, because the scream that he let out. I saw him step toward me and I bolted,
who's
dropping my
more
sack of
scary in
candy
your
on the
opinion?
floor.
Michael Myers.
I
Jason
slammed the
Voorhees,
front door
and
behind me
Leatherface.
and jumped off the porch. I lost my footing and skidded down the pavement, scraping to a
man.
stop
Is
right
his
where my
friend still
friends
out
were
there?
sitting on the
Oh, yeah, they are.
sidewalk. Jeez, Ken, what got into you? I clambered to my feet and said only, "Run!" What? Just then, Michael kicked down the door and started running towards us at full speed.
Oh,
We
yeah.
dropped everything and split
Run,
up,
nigga.
sprinting away
Take
as
my
fast as
candy now.
humanly possible. Later that night, we met up at my house. I was very happy to see that none of my friends were hurt, but they were pretty upset with me.
Lost all that candy.
Dude,
all
why'd
that
you
hard
scare us
work.
like that? Yeah, you made us drop all the candy we had. If you hadn't spooked us, we'd be eating like kings right now.
Go back.
Guys, you don't understand. That was real. No way, dude. It was just some guy dressed as Michael Myers. He just got you so
I'd
good, you
have
made us
recorded
think
this
he was
shit,
real
nigga.
for
I
a
ain't gonna
second.
cap.
But come on, all that stuff was fake. Yeah, man, you said it yourself. You should have just left it alone if you scare so easily. Come on, guys, you gotta believe
His
me.
friends tryna- his-
Yeah,
his-
we
his-
believe
his
you're
friends
a
trying to
wuss.
hold him, fool. Like,
No matter how much I tried to explain to them what I saw,
yeah, just
They
don't. Just
didn't
nobody
believe
to explain that, bro. You
but
just walk
they
in,
were still good
man,
friends
chopping-
at least, and
chopping
stayed
someone
over at
like
my
some
house for the
celery.
night as per our original plan. My mom gave us all the candy she had left over from the
Which
trick-or-treaters,
wasn't
which
much.
almost made up for our lost loot. For a moment, I started to believe them, that this was all fake and I'd gotten thoroughly pranked by some creep loser in a nasty
He's
house.
sour, bro.
But when morning
He look
came,
like he really stressing though.
our peace was shattered completely.
Bro, it do be crazy
came
stuff
out
be
to the
happening
living
on
room when the
Halloween
news
though,
was
bro.
playing on the
Especially
TV.
like when I was a kid, younger.
A terrible tragedy occurred last night in the midst of the Halloween celebration. Police say
There
their
will
main
always be someone
suspect
on
is
the
a man
news just
dressed
like
as
this.
the popular horror movie villain Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise, who was spotted before sunrise this morning,
Or someone that
reportedly
back on the news
terrorizing
like
children while
someone
armed
kid
with a
got
knife.
hurt or hit or got like something in their candy. Yo, that was crazy. What in the world? What is this, bro? 3 true moral core stories? I ain't gonna lie, bro. That look crazy, gang. Should we check it out, Chad? Let's check it out. Oh, they got the 3 Five Nights at Freddy's. Hey, we're gonna have to check this out, Chad. We definitely got to check this out. Alright, bet. Alright, that's the video for today. You know what I'm saying? We still gonna be rolling out these reaction videos, but it's the end and conclusion to this video. I will be having more reaction videos I'm finna drop on Halloween, so make sure y'all boys stay tuned for that. You feel me? But yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in, watching these reactions with me. Like I said, bro, I'm really starting to fuck with these animated like little short film. We're on to the next reaction video. Let's get it.